Okay, so this is Letitia on August 4th, 2016, and I am here to talk to you about Datatel. Datatel is a tool that you will use in your role. And Datatel as a system, if you're not familiar with it, is basically our college MIS system or management information system. It is the system we use to register students, to pay payroll, to manage facilities, to put in work order requests, and of course to manage some of the functional bits of our curriculum. When you think of Datatel and the relationship of curriculum to Datatel, courses have their own containers in Datatel. Academic programs, degrees, certificates, skills attainment certificates have their own shells as well in Datatel. Your job is to manage, move all the data from Curricunet into Datatel for those courses and programs. So what I'm going to do is show you how well, I'm going to orient you first to the course module of Datatel. May have to do this in bits and pieces because it's pretty big. And then also just give you some suggestions along the way. First of all, again, I would recommend that you make Datatel a favorite. I have done that, and it's up here as Datatel. You also need to know that there is a test version of Datatel that you may also want to have on here. I don't think I've put it on here this year, but that would also be something where if you get asked to test a function in Datatel, just like Curricunet, there's a test site where IT works to make improvements to the system. So I'm going to go in and get my login credentials. This is something that Michelle Walker will facilitate for you. If you don't have the appropriate permissions, you'll want to request that you have the same permissions as I have or Heather Townsend at the Modesto campus. I'm going to go ahead and log in. You should have had Datatel training. If you haven't already, there's a generic all-user Datatel training which orients you to how Datatel works and thinks. But I'm teaching you specifically about the curriculum module within Datatel. So we start out by needing to look for the form that deals with courses. And when we say form, there's the course section of Curricunet has the course screen as well as a bunch of screens that branch off from it. So I would call those subscreens. And the mnemonic or the little code that we use to find course is CRSE. That is going to become a big word in your vocabulary. You're going to refer to it a lot because you control that screen, and the divisions and anyone offering classes at the college is affected by the data on the screen. So I hit enter, and it's going to bring me to this screen. This is the course lookup screen. This is where you look up courses in the college curriculum or you create them. So in this instance, what I want to do is look up a course that I know is in the curriculum. And we start with C. If you're new to Columbia, what you need to know is that the college district is Yosemite Community College District has two colleges, Modesto and Columbia. When we implemented Datatel in 2004, a decision was made to use a function called smart coding, which is where within the system, we sort out the colleges by putting a leading character indicating C for Columbia and M for Modesto. So if we said C Biol 2, which is a course in the college catalog, and hit OK. Let's see what happens. This brings up Biology 2, the course, in every version of this course because courses change over time. So what you're seeing here is a list of 3 versions of Biology 2. The oldest version is at the bottom up to the newest at the top. This is the end date of the version of the course, and this is the start date. So this version of Biology 2 started in '89 and ended in 2005, and the title was Principles of Biology. There was some revision that took place that ended this version and started 8/4/15. Notice that, oh, interesting, the dates are funny on that. And then this version ended, I'm sorry, 8/29. This ended on 8/28. This one started on 8/29 and ended on May 4th, 2015, also called Principles of Biology. So let's go ahead and open up the active record. See, there's no end date. Let's open that up. All right, so here is the CRSE screen. And this is where you will become a fast expert in managing the college curriculum. Here we have the department that the course is affiliated with. Here we have the subject that it's affiliated with, the number of the course, and the effective dates. The effective date is the date at which the course actually starts. It's not the date that it was approved. It's typically should be the first day of the summer term. When we think of curriculum, we want to think of a curriculum that is stable through an academic year so that students who have catalog rights can anticipate that their curriculum is not going to change in the middle of the academic year. So both the Modesto campus and the Columbia campus have moved toward the model where curriculum should only change once a year, and that change should take place with the first day of the summer session, which usually is around the first week of May or the last days of April. This is the credit type. So this particular course, because of its course number, is degree applicable, which means that we mark it as CD. And this is one of those Chancellor's Office data elements, which would be CB04, I believe, the course credit type. And here is the unit value of the course. This course is 4 units. If it was a variable unit course, this would be the lower increment of the variable unit versus the upper unit. So when we say variable units, some courses are offered from 1 to 4 units. 1 is the bottom units and 4 is the top, and the increment at which it increases is typically 1 unit or a half unit. You'll have to look closely at the curriculum to make the determination as to whether we can offer this course as a 1.5 unit course, or if it's only 1, 2, 3 versus 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. This, you can disregard that. There are no CEUs this time with any curriculum. Course levels. This particular field contains 2 Chancellor's Office data elements. The SAM code, which is the, I'm reading. Oh my goodness, where is it? It is CB09. Chancellor's Office data element CB09. And up here you see these little tools right here. They allow you to move between values. It's also PTCLY, which again is another Chancellor's Office data element CB21, which scaffolds our curriculum into levels before it becomes transfer or baccalaureate level. So this is basically saying this is prior to college level Y, meaning Y means not applicable. The other options would be 1, 2, etc. The academic level is undergraduate. The grade scheme is undergraduate as well. Those are just standard for all of our courses. I never enter anything different. The short title is Cell and Molecular Biology, and the long title is Cell and Molecular Biology. This title right here appears on transcripts, and this one appears when things are printed out. When you view it on Connect Columbia. What you want to make sure of is when you have a title that exceeds the number of characters allowable in the short title field, that you edit it in such a way that it makes sense, because that's what's going to walk with students on their transcripts 20 years from now. They're going to say, what was the name of that course? Your job is to make that really long title make sense in this short title field. So we're going to move on here to the description field. See this icon over here? This allows you to preview what's in that description field. See? This is a description that should be pulled from the course outline of record. This is actually not a complete description. I have created a Word report in Datatel which takes all the elements, essentially as you see a course description in the catalog, it pre-populates those so everything is here so people can see the prerequisites, any other things that go along with it. That is a project that would need to be done, a giant copy and paste to make sure that all of Datatel matches what's in the catalog, but we're not quite there yet. But in any case, this should be what is known as the narrative description of the catalog from the course outline, or the Word report called, I think, the course catalog report, as well as supplemental articulation information, materials, fee, flags, grading policies, etc. And this is also visible in Connect Columbia when students go and click on the course title during the course search. They can actually see this. This is the status of the class. So when you say that the effective date, let's say for example you say it's 5/4/2017 and you click active, that means this record is active but it doesn't start until that 2017 date. So those two fields interact, but they don't control each other. They can move independently of each other, and they will have an effect on your workflow, but I won't go into that now. The status date is the date that the record became active. So this particular record literally shows you that this record was made active on January 22nd, 2015. Oh, by yours truly, Letitia Miller. Curriculum. To indicate that the curriculum committee has approved it, I enter the curriculum committee's identity code from Datatel, which is 31353. You'll want to write that on a little post-it note because that's how you're going to indicate that the approval agency was the curriculum committee, and you as their delegate, you'll want to put your W number in to indicate that you are the person who is doing their handiwork for them. And this should be the meeting date. This field is not consistently used in the past. You will see that and try to update that with the last review date. Sometimes you'll have changes that come through curriculum to indicate, but it won't actually affect Datatel. You have a big job in terms of the amount of data that you manage. It is ideal that you would be able to go and show that this record or this particular course was approved by the curriculum committee, but not necessarily changed. That's going to be up to you. That's an ideal world to be able to just update the date, even if no elements changed. But I'm going to let you figure out whether or not you want to do that or not. Up here we have what's called the national ID, which equates to the CIP code, CIP, which is the classification of instructional programs. And then the local ID is the top code. So they're basically saying, yeah, so we're saying, oh yeah, our local ID is the Chancellor's Office, the Taxonomy of Programs Discipline Code that the course is being approved in. This is something that when you submit the course to the Chancellor's Office is an element that the Chancellor's Office approved, and if there is a mismatch between what we input as the top code in Datatel and what they have on file at the Chancellor's Office, we're going to get an error.